create them. But before we get into all of that, please subscribe to our channel to never miss an update from Intellipaat. Also guys, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Now, let's talk about today's agenda. Today's agenda is very simple and only fourfold. We'll be starting off with a brief introduction to what is RPA. So in that section, we'll discuss about what is RPA all about, what is this technology, how it works, and everything in that section. Once we have that, we'll move on to talk about what is UiPath, and in this section, we'll discuss about other RPA tools as well. So there are different tools for RPA and UiPath is one of them, and we're going to be discussing about that in the second section. Once we have that in the bag, we'll move on and talk about some real life examples of RPA. There are different things which are being done across the world in various different industries using RPA, and we'll be discussing about those examples in the third section. And once we have done that, we'll talk about how you can start a career in RPA and how you can begin your journey in this field. So that is about the agenda, guys. I hope that is clear to you. So without wasting any further time, let's begin. So what is RPA? So RPA, basically, if we go by the definition, it says that it is the process of automating your operations with robots without the human interaction with the system. So this term is not very much clear, right? So there's a robot involved and humans are not involved. What does it mean? Let's break it down to 3 different words to get a better understanding of what this is. So robotic process automation, or RPA, is made up of 3 different words, right? So there is robotic, there is process, and there is automation. So robotic is anything which is done by a robot which mimics a human action. So for example, if let's say on my screen I want to go and click on Google Chrome, or I want to open Excel and type something, that is a human action. And if a robot can do that, like instead of me, like if there is a robot that can just open the Excel sheet and type my name, that is an action which is being mimicked by a robot. So it saw what I did and it can do it now. So that is an action which is done by a robot, right? Then process is a set of sequential actions. So let's say if I tell this robot to do n number of different tasks. So let's say if I have to, let's say open a website, go to some particular website, and in there copy some kind of an information, bring that information back, open the Excel and paste it in the Excel sheet, and then save the whole program and just close it. So that is a set of sequential actions. So this is termed as a process where you are following a set of sequential actions in order to get some results. In my scenario, I just wanted to get some information from some website, and that is a set of sequential actions which was followed. In that is the process which is being followed. And when I have all of this, and all of these actions which I have defined so far has been done without me interacting with the system. Like all I had to do is, let's say if you have a coffee machine, right? So you just press, okay, I want coffee, or I want tea, I want this. It does everything else, like it brings the milk to a certain temperature, it blends the coffee and it mixes everything and just gives you the end result, right? So your involvement is just pressing that button. So yeah, when you click on that start and you get everything out of it, that is an automation, that is an automated task for you. Like everything else has been done in the background, all you had to do is just initiate the process. So automation is anything which is done without the human intervention with the system. So when we combine all of this, what do we get? So if you think about it, you are basically defining a set of sequential actions for a robot to do, so that when you click the button, which is the start button, the robot can execute all of the actions that you have told the robot to do, that you would do. In the similar manner, the robot will follow what you do and finish all of those tasks one by one, and at the end, whatever your end goal was is achieved. So that is what RPA is. So RPA is something which comes on top of your current existing system. So a lot of people are confused in the matter that how is RPA different from Selenium or other automation. So the traditional coding that you do, right? If we can do a lot of things with respect to coding that RPA does, that there is no denying that. But the reason why RPA is so attractive in the world right now is basically because it does not require that much of a coding background. You don't need to have an extreme computer science background in order to learn RPA. You can just drag and drop everything, so it is very intuitive, very easy to learn. And it is, let's say if I had to build a code to automate some tasks, it will take me much longer than it will for RPA, because many RPA tools now come with the very excellent technology of recording, where it can record your actions and build the logic out of it, where it can execute these results, right? So that is why RPA is very popular. Whereas as long as Selenium is considered, Selenium is just used for website automation, whereas RPA can do a lot of different backend actions as well. So It also does the website automation that you want, but it can also automate your Excel. It can even automate your actions of clicking something somewhere, changing the song, or opening a website and bringing down the stock information, web scraping, reading some PDF. A lot of different things it can do. It can do invoice processing. So there's a lot of different things that RPA can do, and that is why it is being adopted by various different industries, right? So how does RPA basically work? So the idea is very simple. So RPA is a technology. A lot of people confuse that RPA is a tool. No, RPA is a technology, right? Like the programming is a technology, and you can do programming via various different languages. You can use Python, you can use C++, you can use Java, you can use a lot of different things. Just for printing hello world, you can have 344 or many other various different programs. The end result is the same. The tool which you are using to reach that particular action is different, right? Similarly, RPA is a technology, and that technology can be achieved through various different tools, and UiPath is one of them. There is Automation Anywhere, there is Blue Prism, and there are many more vendors in the market who do the same. So the concept remains the same. The idea behind it is the same, that you just need to drag and drop some functionalities, and once you hit start, the tool which is there will initialize a robot which will see, okay, these are the n number of actions that has been defined for me. I will follow each of these actions one by one, and whatever the outcome of that, I will present that in the end. So that is the idea behind it. So basically, you can define a logic. So there has to be some logic, and your robot will follow that logic to the brim. So RPA is basically used for those tasks which are repetitive in nature, right? So because you are defining a set of sequential actions, right? We are defining like, okay, you have to go to this particular website and get this particular information and get this. Because the robot won't know that you want to get like any particular information if you don't define it properly. So the logic or the actions that you are going to define, that set of sequential actions that you have to define, the process, it has to be spot on when you are working with RPA, because the robot will follow it to the brim. Like whatever you have defined, like, okay, on this or let's say if you just wanted to go to Amazon, search for earphones and search for one particular earphones and get its price back, you have to be very specific in all of that, because the robot won't be able to figure out where it has to click if you don't do it properly, right? So that has to be defined very properly. So the idea is that you will define a set of sequential actions, and tool, when you start the process, it will initialize a robot. It will see those actions one by one, and it will perform all of those actions one by one, and once it is done with that, your automation is achieved. So that is the basic idea of how RPA works. And we'll move on and talk about how it works in the section where we discuss some use cases. For now, let's just move along with the topic. So the reason why we are discussing RPA right now is because it is being adopted by so many industries, right? So RPA is in many industries, because as you can imagine, every single industry in the world has some kind of repetitive and sequential actions which can be automated, right? And now what the scenario is, the fact that you have a lot of manpower, right? So a manpower doing repetitive tasks is not the most utilized version of what a man can do, because people are smart, people can learn different things, and they can be more skillful, and they could be involved in doing something which is more towards the human. Like for example, let's say if we have some people who are doing invoice processing, right? So they are looking at some information on a given paper, and they are typing it down manually. So that is a very it's a very repetitive task, and it is labor intensive, right? They have to see it, they have to type it, and then keep on doing it again and again and again. But this is something which you can give it to your robot, and it will be able to do it much faster than a human can, because robots are faster, and it will be errorless because robots don't make a mistake, right? So you can define it properly, and if the template that you have defined is working properly, this data entry will be done much more faster and more accurately than humans can do. Now, this enables you, and this enables your company to utilize the human resources that they have for this it's a data entry or whatever. These people can be employed in doing more skillful tasks, like performing some different kinds of analytics, or learning different things with it, or doing different things which will be more valuable to the company. In this way, what you do is you not only make your organization much more efficient and effective, and ROI is very good, but at the same time you make the overall system very robust. So everything becomes much more smoother and it looks very great to the end user's perspective, like this is this entire process is flowing very flawlessly. So that is the idea behind why industries are adopting RPA. Now let's talk about the various different industries that are doing it. So as I told you before, right? So every industry has some kind of a repetitive task. May it be IT, healthcare, banking, insurance, telecommunication, manufacturing. Everywhere there are repetitive tasks. There is a lot of form processing across all of these industries, and there are various different other tasks which can be automated in all of these industries as well. That's why RPA has been so popular in the last few years, since it has come, that so many industries are adopting it, because you can have a lot of different new professionals who can build the tasks much more faster, and the system becomes very much more robust. That is the reason why RPA is being adopted by so many different industries, because it does not eliminate your entire infrastructure, right? Just think of it as the fact that, let's say if you are a company who is running some kind of task, let's say if you are just doing using Excel, and you were working with your invoices which are coming in your PDF format or something. So the idea is the simple fact that, let's say, what is the problem with adopting some kind of a new technology? If let's say I'm adopting a new technology, what the problem with that one is, that's the simple fact that when you adopt a new technology, you have to check the compatibility of that particular technology with everything that other thing that you have running in your industry, right? So you have to think about if it will be compatible with everything and it will be able to work on it. The bonus factor of RPA is that you will still be using your Excel or your PDF or maybe your Citrix automation or whatever it is there. You will still be using all of that, but it comes on top of that. It automates those things which you are already using. So that is another interesting factor of RPA, that you do not have to displace the entire processes that you have defined and everything that you have worked for. You don't have to displace that. You can even optimize that using this RPA technology. It will come on top of that. It will automate your Excel. It will automate your web browser. It will automate your different tasks that you have. So that is something which is very fruitful to all of the industries, right? So let's move along and talk about the famous RPA tools. So I told you RPA is a technology, and this technology can be performed by various different tools, similar to like the programming is a technology, and you can have Java, C++, and other programming languages to perform similar tasks, right? Similarly, in RPA, you have various tools, and there are a lot of different vendors in the market, but we are choosing 3 right now, and these 3 are outstanding tools for you to start with. So one of them being UiPath, and I will show you UiPath in this session as well. So in this session, we'll go through UiPath a little bit, and we'll show you some automation through UiPath. Other than that, we have Automation Anywhere, and we have Blue Prism. Now, once I present these options to you to learn in terms of RPA, you would be questioning me as to which tool should I start with. In my personal opinion, UiPath or Automation Anywhere is the way to go. It being a very simple fact, Blue Prism is an outstanding tool. All of these tools are very outstanding, very reliable, very scalable, and they have an equal amount of demand in the industry. So you in terms of that, you don't have a problem where you start with. Why I recommend UiPath and Automation Anywhere is the simple fact that you have some kind of a community editions for these two, where you can learn these tools for free. So you can download it and you can get started with a trial or something, and you can learn these things for free. Whereas Blue Prism is a 100% paid tool. You'd have to pay beforehand and then start working with it. So let's say someone who is starting right now and do not know what UiPath is, and if Automation Anywhere or UiPath or RPA is the field for you, what you can do is you can try out UiPath and Automation Anywhere and see if this is something you want to work with in the future, right? So since it is very user friendly and everything, it's very easy to learn these things, and since it is free, I'd always recommend going for the free tools first and finding out if that is something that interests you. If that is the case, then you can go ahead and learn Blue Prism. That is not a problem, but as a starting point, I would recommend UiPath or Automation Anywhere. Now let's talk about some RPA use cases, right? So far we have discussed a lot about RPA. Now let's talk about how industries are using RPA. So the first example that comes to my head is form processing, right? So I've told you like the data entry and everything which is out there. So we have a lot of, let's say if you're a company, you have a lot of invoices coming. And what you have to do is you have to pick out valuable information from these invoices and do some data entry. Let me show you on direct UiPath as to how these things work. So let me show you. Let me open this tester activity. So I have 2 invoices here, right? So I've downloaded 2 invoices. So problem with this is, let's say if I have an invoice right here, right? So I have the name, I have a location, I have the phone number, and I have some different descriptions. So I have a lot of different information in here. Now what companies want generally is they want to have these informations extracted and pasted in some kind of an Excel form. Right? Similarly, I have pasted two information in here. I have two different kinds of invoices in here where I have different name and phone numbers in here for the customers' information. Right. So what you can do is what I want is generally is data manual entry people. What they will do, they will open this information. They will look at, okay, the name is this and the phone number is this. They will take this information and then they will, let's say, open this Excel sheet right here. And in this Excel sheet, what they'll do is they will basically put the different information in here. Whatever the information is, they put this information in here and then just save it. Right? So what they want is the name and the phone number and everything to be here in this Excel sheet. Now you can do this manually, right? You can do this manually, or you can use RPA. So this is what the RPA is, right? This is what the UiPath looks like. This is what the UiPath looks like. So I've pre-created this this particular program to you so that it's we can do these things much more faster. So let me close this invoice real quickly and tell you what this program does. So in this program here, we are assigning a file array we are creating, and in this file array, I am getting the directory name where this information of the files is stored. Basically, I want to find out where these two invoices are, right? So I have taken that information, I have assigned an X and a Y, that I'll tell you the reason for this later on. So what I'm doing is, in the item file array, so I have an array of files. An array is somewhere, it's a kind of a list where you store the information, right? So I have a list where all of the, whatever files I put in this particular directory, if there was like invoice 3, invoice 4, invoice 5, whatever it is there, I take all of the items for each file or each item in the file array. So all the items in that list, what I do is I take all of that. Then what I do is I open that. I open this particular invoice. I open this invoice, so that the start process is for that. Then I look for, let's say I open that. What I want from here is I want to extract some valuable information in form of, let's say, the name. I want the name, and what I want is write a cell. So what I'm doing is I'm extracting some information, the name, the location, what is the phone number is. I'm extracting that information in here. Then I'm writing that to an Excel sheet. So a write cell is used to type that in an Excel sheet. Now what I do is, in this, if you notice, this is where you will be typing into the sheet, right? So this is the sheet information, like the sheet 1 is the information of the Excel sheet where you want to put, right? So in this we are using test, right? We work test XLS. So this is the test XLS. In here, what I want to do is I want to start with sheet 1. So this is the sheet 1 right here. This is the sheet 1. I could have sheet 2, sheet 3, whichever sheet I want to put. And in that sheet, which column or which row you want to put. So I put A and then X. Now my X has been assigned a value of 1 and my Y has been assigned a value of 0. So why I do that is for a very simple fact that once I have this information, let's say for the first invoice, I will be writing that information in the first row and the first column, right? So I will write the information in here, right? So I will write the information for the first one in here. The next information that I want to type is I want to type in the second sheet. What I will do is I will basically assign that to y is equal to y plus 1. Basically, if it was 1, now it will become 1 plus 1, which is 2. The next time I go to this iteration again, so since it is a for each loop, it will keep on rotating inside of this particular loop again and again and again. So every time I go into this loop at the top, 1 will become 2, 2 will become 3, 3 will become 4. So every time depending on the number of invoices I have, if I run it, the information will be there. So let's see how this works. So I've created this particular file and my Excel is right here. So I will close my Excel sheet and let's see what this particular program can do, right? So let's quickly click on run. Let's see what happens. So my program is running right now. It has opened the PDF sheet. Let us close the PDF sheet. It has opened the other PDF sheet, as you can see. It's taking the information, it has closed it. Now my program says that it's done. So that if that is true, in that scenario, if I open test right now, I should be able to see some information in there, which is with respect to the invoices I have. So let me open this and let me open my invoices also so that it's clear of what just happened. So I've taken the information, which is the Prakhar, Delhi and the phone number from this Excel sheet right here. All these three information and I have pasted it here, and all of that using my RPA. And if you see the invoice second, it should also have the following information, which was Hemant Gurgaon and these numbers. So I've pasted that information also in here. So that is what basically, and it took, how many seconds did it take? It probably took 1 or 2 seconds. That is the power of RPA, what you can do. You can do this invoice processing in one click of a button. So that is the power of RPA. So let's come back to our presentation and let's move along. You just saw how the form processing works, right? So I had an invoice and I picked out the valuable information, which is the name, address, and phone number, and I pasted that to an Excel sheet. So this is an example of form processing or data entry. You can have a lot of different things. Like you can see if the name is, you can validate the name, you can validate the Aadhaar card, you can do a lot of different things with it, right? It's just a simple example of what you can do. The next example of an RPA in action would be, let's say if I wanted to have some information from some website. Let's take a scenario of a stock industry, right? So there's a lot of people working with stock, and with the rise of the new web series, which is the scam of 1992, there was stock market trading, right? So in there, if you had seen that all of the investment bankers who are working in there and all of the bankers which are working, they have to be very much involved and have to have the information of how stocks are going, if they're going up, if they're going down, and based on that, they have to make a lot of different choices, a lot of different decisions, right? Similarly, so what you want to do is you basically want to go to the website which takes the stock information, pick out the valuable information from there. So what is the stock value, the highest stock value, and then based on that you can do some manipulations with respect to that data. So let's say the stock is rising, you can send an email to your customer saying this stock has just risen. See, maybe you want to, and it looks like it will be growing for some time, and based on that you can make this selection, or you can have some reports being generated over some time. Okay, this was how the stock was going for some time, and based on that you can take this information. Now most of you would be asking, how can UiPath do that? Can it take the information? So let me show you another example so that these things become much more clear. So let's we go to Google Finance, right? Now if we go to stock market prices, and in here if I search for TSLA, which is Tesla, right here, so you can see this information right here. It tells you how the stock was. Now the program that I have created, it was done a while earlier, right? So it was done a little while earlier. Let me close the invoice one and move to the other program. Let me open the example. I think it was test, if I'm not wrong. So let me meanwhile that it opens up in the main workflow. So when I created that particular information, at that point of time, you can see I created this program on 27th October. At that point of time, you can see the stock information was 420. It was 420.28 minus 37 something in the USD. So whatever the information was, this is with respect to at that point of time. Now, at the current point of time, you can see the information, as it says, the information is 555.38. So this is the information. So let's say if I wanted to run this program every single day and find out what are the information with respect to these stocks, and then based on that you can have some report or some kind of decision making process, right? So what you can do is you can create an RPA program which will automatically open Google Finance. It will automatically search for this. It will come to this page and it will extract this particular information and give you the result. So that is the web scraping capability of RPA, that you can go to a particular website and get the relevant information back, and then you can have that information in some Excel sheet, or you can send some email based on that. You can perform different activities based on that, and you can maybe plot a graph like this. Let's see if my program can do it, right? Let's see if my program can bring back this particular information. So let's try. So it will initialize an Microsoft Edge page. As you can see, it opened the website automatically, and it returned the information with respect to what this was automatically. So that is another example of what RPA can do. So let me guide you through the program and how it was built. So the example this in here is very simple. It opens a browser. It goes to the particular website, the Google Finance page. In there, it goes to the particular web page, and it tries to extract the information which is in here. So you can use web scraping, which is another information. You can use the web scraping information to extract the information, and from there what I wanted was to, in the message box, I wanted to print variable 1. So whatever the information I was getting out of this, I stored it in a variable and I pasted that variable to get the information out there. So whatever the program was built, I got the information out and put it in a variable form. So this is a very simple program that you can create in RPA, and this was done using this tool. So you can use this web recording. If I use that, what you have to do is just use this copy text, and you can copy any of these elements. You can copy this information, you can bring it back to your UiPath, and you can use that information to perform various different actions. So that is the power of UiPath. So you can see this, you can do a lot of different things with your UiPath itself. So let me close this. So you can, these are the various different applications that you can do inside of UiPath. You can see a lot of different activities are in here for your mails, for your computer vision, for your orchestrator, for your programming, for your system activities, core statements and open close processes, dialog, environment, PowerShell, PB script, UI automation, which has browser code element, OCR, which is optical character recognition. So we can use optical character recognition also to read PDF. So while I was reading PDF, I used OCR engine in there, and you can have SAP and different technologies that you can automate. So RPA can do all of these things for you and for your industry. So let's talk about other applications of RPA in the industry. So far we have seen two examples of RPA being used in the industry and how it can bring out the information and store it for you. Let's move further. So some more use cases of where RPA can be used in the industry is customer email query processing. So as you can see, there was another separate action set for emails. So you can read the subject of the email, and based on that you can decide which team that particular query should go to. And you can automate that entire process, that the customer gets an automated email response. Okay, we will be connecting you with this trainer on this particular day, and you can send out the email to your particular representative. Like, this was the customer's query for you, and you can resolve it. And then based on that, you can entirely automate the process. Let's say there can be some predefined information as well. So let's say if your customer has some kind of an FAQ which you generally face, and you can design an automation task which can recognize, okay, if the customer is asking this particular thing, we already know how to solve it, and I send that automated response real quickly, and then we are done. Let's say if there is a forgot password kind of thing, you can have an RPA program created which will automatically send those email informations and get them to change their password. So you can do that as well. You can do client profile update. You can take all of the information from the customer, let's say the phone name, phone number, everything, and then you can open the Excel sheet or whatever the website is. You can go in there and you can just design it to change that information and update the information in there. Customer order processing, we just saw an example of invoice processing. It is very similar to that. You can process the order and you can send the notification as to where their order is in the particular life cycle of the project. And then there is insurance claims processing, so you can have that done as well. You can have call center operations where if you want to, let's say, change your information, press 1, then you can have like an automated program which opens up, takes the information from the customers, let's say the phone number or their new address or something they have to take, and you can automate processes based on that. So you can create all of these things with the help of RPA. This is very easy to use. So those were some simple examples of RPA being used in the industry. So let's move on and talk about the learning path for RPA. So far we have seen the power of UiPath, and we have seen where RPA can be used. So you can understand that there is a lot of opening in the industry. That's why we at Intellipaat, we understand that an investment in knowledge always pays the best interest. That's why we come up with a lot of free content, and this one also being a part of it, where we try to get across with the users about various different technologies, keep them updated about what the industry is going for, as well as we post a lot of different longer tutorials. So if you are interested in learning UiPath or automation anywhere, we do have tutorials also on our free YouTube channel, where you can find all the information about these technologies and other technologies that are out there in the world. And if you are an avid reader, you can go and check out our blogs. We have various different blogs written on various different technologies. They are theoretical and based on tutorials and different things that you can find in there as well. Or if you are someone who thinks that, okay, I need more projects, I need some exercise, I need guided processes, we also provide the facility to learn with us, enroll with us, and join our classroom program, where we can have an instructor for you who is again an industry expert working in the industry right now and is certified as well in the particular field. We have those professionals who can teach you, guide you through the process, take your doubts, help you learn and get you ready for the industry as well as the certification exam for the particular technology, right? We have all of that ready for you. And if you are someone who wants to check out free tutorials, go ahead and check out our tutorials on our YouTube channel as well. We post about a lot of different technologies. You can find even 10, 11 hour long tutorials on our YouTube channel, which is available for free. So that is about that, guys. With that, we have come to the end of this session. So if you have any queries with respect to this session or any other session that we have had, the numbers are on your screen. Feel free to reach out to us at any point of time. So with that, I will be signing off. and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.